Good evening. How are you out there in Instagram world? I was going to say YouTube world, y'all. Good evening, good. Wait, let me grab my water. Good evening. How are you? Are you all ready to get some great information, guys? I am super excited because we're about to jump on it. Hey, love, look, thank you so much for sharing your testimonial, guys. Make sure as you're joining, let me welcome everybody and wait for Natasha to join. Guys, make sure you check the comments because people, hey Jocelyn, people have been commenting and been excited to hear from me and Natasha, but also sharing some of your results. Hey, love, good evening, good evening. So y'all, I'm excited. Are y'all excited? I'm excited because we're about to talk to one of my favorite people, a whole beast out in these streets, guys. And let me tell you, I hope hey, good evening. First of all, you know I like this to be interactive, right? We've been out here working, and so let me know where you're from. Hey, Lo. I know where Lo is from. Cali. Look, shout out your city and your state while we wait for a couple of people to join. So guys, I'm super excited. I hope you got your notebook and your pen. Yes, y'all. Y'all excited? I'm going to tell you something. First of all, you're the average of the 5 people you hang around the most, right? You pay attention to your circle. Natasha is a whole beast out in these streets helping so many people, get results and just get to the end of the finish line. How many of y'all know that when you're working with a lender, with a creditor, when you're working with anybody, to be honest with you, that it's great, all the talk and all the fluff and everything is awesome, but the goal is to get to the end of the finish line. Come on, somebody, right? And she's one of my Make Real Estate Real teammates, so I just have a special place in my heart for her. So let me tell you one of the reasons why. Everybody, welcome. Good evening. I hope you have your notebook. I hope you have your pen. We're going to share some information, and then I think we're also going to leave some time for some Q&A. And so take advantage of this, guys. Please share this live so other people know that we're on here. Okay, share the live and make sure you like and comment, and let's get some information, guys. And we're gonna share information for first-time home buyers and also for investors. And I think here we go. I'm super excited. This is where that's that iron sharpens iron. So when people that are in your network are doing amazing things, it's supposed to inspire you. Hey,
so we just had a whole mastermind realtor session tonight. So we got a full house over here in the room. Say hey.
Hello, Chi-Town.
Hello.
Yo, they over here working.
Here tonight. They over here.
You had a whole mastermind. So tell us, what were you just doing? Tell us about what's going on. What did you just do? Look, we're gonna jump right in. What did you just do?
Right in. So tonight we had a mastermind. Wind it down is what we called it, and we talked about, we were supposed to have this whole class, but we just did a forum answering everybody's questions, letting them know what's going on in this market. We talked a little bit about credit repair. We also talked about renovation loans, and the biggest thing is marketing, and they want to know about how to go live, and all of a sudden we're just going live right now. So everything they need to know to grow and double and triple their digits in this business during this quote unquote bad time, and we're going to turn it into a good time, because right now, with everything that's going on, we have time to put our plans together, to execute, and to really come up with some really good, unique strategies, so that way we can really find deals for our clients, build generational wealth, and make money while doing it.
Absolutely. Life is over. She dropped all the gems. That's good. Good night, people. Look, I love it. And let me tell you something. And I didn't say this to you, Natasha. We're gonna have a conversation, but I was never on social media. Literally having to actually do all this for all of our entrepreneurs and investors. Instagram, YouTube, go on, change your whole life because you're meeting so many other people. So I love the fact that you're doing this live and you are in this, in there actually doing the work. Look, come on, somebody.
And I swear I'm not social media either. I know people don't believe that, but this is the first time in 2023 that you guys are gonna really see me in front of the camera. Before I was hiding behind my pictures, but right now we about to start doing some educating and dropping gems and really getting out here. And I would never in a million years, Terry, thought that you didn't do social media, because you are a pro and you've been killing it ever since I met you, dropping game, bringing all the energy. You make me want to go home and retry social media. So congratulations on everything that you do, because you are freaking amazing.
Yeah, Thank you. Look at I love my friend. And so let me just say, so one reason and look, and you just fumble your way through. You get better as you do it. So let me just say this. One reason why I love Natasha, I told her this recently too, is that I love the fact that she's a loan officer, she's a manager, but she's also hey love.
This is Nina Gonzalez. What's your MLS number?
No, hold on. I wanted to hear, what else did you have to say about Natasha?
I said that she is amazing. I said her customer service is outstanding. I said that she takes people that I send to her. She closes the deal quickly and efficiently, and then she helps them grow their portfolio beyond their wildest dreams. That's what I said.
Let me tell you something about Natasha. So she recruited me. I'm her #1 loan officer. The day after we met, I had a dream that I was flying and driving in a brand new Mercedes-Benz. I said, yes, I'm going to work with you. And let me tell you, I have not looked back ever since. Loans by Nina. This is my partner in crime, and we bring it to not only our community, but also our partners. So thank you so much for supporting us.
And Nina is awesome, and she's killing it, closing loans, renovation loans, everything. So we are here as a team. It's enough business for everybody, and we're here to support.
Look,
thank you.
That's a success story.
She been here since 10, so she got to go home now.
No, you know what? That was so timely. I love that because guess what? Look, we're going, I gotta be me, Natasha. As women, come on, queens, can we support each other and help each other and collaborate together? I love the fact that you guys work, and then as you work, you guys both elevate. I think that we need to show that more. More like we see the men getting together, but can more of us I love the fact that you guys got together and you're partnered and you're growing even more, and so that's beautiful. So let me tell you some people out there know you. Shout out to all my Make Real Estate Real people. Shout out to all my wealth warriors. Shout out to all my elite 10. But there's also a lot of people who don't know you. So I want you just to kind of introduce yourself, give your title and what you actually do, because people are at all different spectrums. Some people are investors and some people are still looking to buy their first homes. They may not even know the role that somebody like you plays. Now, just let you all know before she goes, is that one reason why I love Natasha is because she's an investor herself. And I'm just going to be honest. I feel like she really understands the needs of the client, of investors, of I'm thinking outside the box and trying to get things done. And so I really value that extra added knowledge and experience she has that makes her just like a whole beast. So Natasha, can you introduce yourself to people and tell them what you actually do, since everybody on here doesn't know you? They will after tonight though.
Well, thank you so much, Terry. My name is Natasha Robinson, MLS number 332074, and I am a house hacker. I am a generational wealth builder, and my job is to educate you and whomever else needs this knowledge so that way we can help you become homeowners and teach others how to be homeowners, because if we don't own, we have to rent, and then that can be a problem in the future, and that's what we're all about, getting you ready for that next step in home ownership. I'm licensed in about 28 states. I do offer conventional loans, VA loans, FHA loans. I am a renovation specialist. I not only do reno loans, but I also rehab properties and flip properties. I'm a business owner. I'm a mother. I'm a friend. I'm a sister. So I understand, and I try to keep it real with you guys on everything that you guys need to know to be dangerous, so that way you can make the best decision for you and your family. Some people want to buy just to buy, but the best reason to buy is because the transaction makes sense for you.
That's so smart. I love that. And you see how she said also renovation loans and everything. So can you just share, I made you do this before, but can you please just share how you started? And the reason why I think that this is super valuable is because just in the social media stage that we're in, we're looking at all these people, and they're multi-millionaires, they have $5 million portfolios, they have 30 houses, they're buying apartment buildings. And it can seem so overwhelming that some people are just getting started, or maybe people that have had some not favorable experiences. But I want everybody to know that you start with property number one. Everybody has a starting point, and then you grow and you grow and you grow. I think sometimes they see you where you are right now, and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to get there. But they don't understand how you started, because it's something they can duplicate. Everybody on here, this is not about me and Natasha. This is about you. And the reason why we're sharing it because everything is duplicatable. So can you just share how, because I think that the way that you got into real estate and how you kind of grew your portfolio is brilliant. So can you just share real quick how you got started?
So as I mentioned, I am a house hacker. So what I did making about $28,000 a year, I actually purchased a 3-unit property. And that 3-unit property I lived in, I learned how to be a landlord. I spent every dollar that I had ever owned on this particular property. And after that, I had to get a job so I can finish my rehab, which was with a mortgage company, which is kind of how I got started. But I finished that project. When I finished that project, I started out, I made about $137,000 in equity. I lived there for about 3 years for free. After living there for 3 years, I decided I'm making money. I want to move up in life. So I actually purchased a 2-unit in a better neighborhood. I'm from the west side of Chicago. So my first building was in a very tough area, but we made it work. And then I was able to move, about 20 blocks down towards the United Center. I bought a 2-unit property. That 2-unit, I had duplex up, stainless steel appliances, hardwood floors, master bathroom. This is a girl from the west side making $28,000, right? So now, I upgraded myself, but my three unit was now making me $1,600. My 2-unit cost $1,400, but I had a tenant in the basement. So with the tenant in the basement, I was only having to come out of my pocket with about $686. So between the two buildings, now I'm profiting $1,000. So now I'm gaining equity in my 3-unit property, and I'm also gaining equity in my 2-unit property. I then okay, what's next? So I decided to sell my 2-unit property, and I purchased the 8-unit. I made $137,000. I transferred it into my 8-unit. Now I went from making $1,600 a month to $5,000 a month. So now,
I need some fire signs. I need some. Did you hear? She just went from 18 to 5,000 a month with a couple of properties. Did y'all? I hope y'all didn't miss that. I'm sorry. I get excited about that because people don't understand. You can have properties and not break even at all. Just break even or lose. Okay, go ahead.
And keep in mind, I was only making $28,000 a year. So from that particular transaction, I actually then went and I purchased so I was making $5,000 a month. And at that point, I put a stop on things, right? So now I go back to my employer, quit my job because my building is paying me more than my job. And I was able to get promoted, making triple the amount of money just because I was more confident in myself. I had money in the bank. I didn't have to settle for those low wages anymore. And at that point, I was able to triple my income in my career. So I then began working. I became a loan officer after going through different departments, and I found my niche. At that point, I wanted to purchase my dream home, which was a rehab, a 3-unit Greystone in North Kenwood. At that time, I bought it for $125,000. That property today is probably worth about $1 million. And I took that property, I turned it to a single family. It was the worst rehab of my life, which made me want to become a renovation specialist and teach people, how to do it the right way. So luckily I was able to finish that property, and then my other properties were able to pay for that property and make a profit. So hopefully, we'll be able to retire and pay off that property eventually, right? But the goal is, but now in my neighborhood, they are purchasing for like $1 million for the same property that I was able to get for 125. I did spend about 400 in rehab, but as you can see, being able to expand my market and having access to cash in my other properties. From there, I did purchase investment properties and things like that, and I'm still figuring it out. I make mistakes every day, but the good thing about mistakes is it makes us better and it makes us stronger. But real estate is always a win, in my opinion. And if we can get you in there as a house hacker, all these properties I purchased was with a minimum loan down payment. So I didn't come to the table with 25% on anything except for my 8-unit. Everything else, I lived in the property. I took advantage of the lowest down payments, and they didn't even have grants available then. Now I can get you guys grants, and we can get you in here, and we offer FHA 203K, conventional, VA renovation. We have so many programs and products. And that's a little bit about me, but I have to say, because I'm a loan officer, and this is what you guys are thinking about. Interest rates are so freaking high, right? They are so high. I'm not buying until 2023. Forget the government. Well, guess what, guys? 3 months ago, my clients were getting no closing costs, paying $30,000 over list price. If you calculate how much money that costs versus the higher rate, you're going to end up saving, and you're going to end up owing $30,000 less than your neighbor because properties have depreciated. So what that means is that you rent the interest rate and you buy the house. In addition to that, for your renovation loans,
Yeah.
The investors are scared. I have a client right now, just got the appraisal back. She got $90,000 in equity. 90,000. That was what the flipper was going to get. But because they don't want to buy right now, my buyers are able to come in on a renovation loan, get the rehab money, live in there for a year, and then they can make money and go on to their next property. You only have to live in the property for a year, but you do have to live there. So that's my quick intro. I'm sure Terry has more questions for me, but I wanted to get all of that out.
Oh my God! Look, I hope y'all didn't miss. She says, Natasha, you said so many powerful things right there, and I'm glad that you were not scared to just, let's address the elephant. Was the elephant in the room? Is that what you call it? Like, oh, interest rates are so high, guys. It's high to rent too, because I know landlords are raising their rent $1,000, $100, $500, just because they can too. So it's like pick your poison. I'd rather own. And there's always the biggest value I got out of what you said is that there's always a solution. There's always a strategy. And honestly, numbers don't lie. Look, men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. So when you really compare what you have in front of you, you can actually make it. You can definitely make it work. It can just happen. And I also love the fact. So can you explain? Let me just say, I love, I gotta do my little arm. I love house hacking. Love it. I've done multiple videos on house hacking. And when I speak to investors, when I speak to people who want to build wealth, they're like, I want to flip. And I'm like, I look at their reports, I look at their scores, I look at how much money they have. Everybody pay, I look at everything. And I say, well, did you think about, doing house hacking? And I don't want a house hack. And I'm like, I think people have a misconception because you just talked about how you just built a whole portfolio by leveraging a certain strategy. So everybody on here does not know what house hacking is. I know what house hacking is. A lot of you do, but can you explain, since we're talking to everybody tonight, and refresher for people that don't know, right? Can you explain what house hacking is and how you can use that to build your wealth and start your portfolio and how it's so super smart?
So house hacking is pretty much you taking advantage of the owner-occupied properties. Most people, we want to buy our dream house as soon as possible. If you have patience and you are willing to live in a 4-unit or 3-unit or 2-unit property for at least 1 year first, then you can buy that property with 3.5% down. FHA will allow you to put 3.5% down on a 1-unit, a 2-unit, a 3-unit, or 4-unit. You can only, in most situations, we do have some options. You can have a second FHA loan. However, it's hard to go from a 4-unit to a house. So if you buy a house and then you want to come back and buy a building, the underwriter won't believe that you're going to move from your beautiful house to live in a building with tenants. So if you want to get the party started, what you do is you purchase the multi-unit. You live in that property for at least 1 year if you can. It gives you the chance to learn how to be a landlord and all of that good stuff. And then you go from that 4-unit property. And this is how I do it here in Chicago. And I am licensed in other states, so we can break it down for other states. But I'm going to break it down just how we do it here so you can understand that part. So we buy the 4-unit, live there for at least a year. You could do a renovation loan, no problem. Then we have a down payment assistance program, which allows you to be a second owner. So now you come back, put 5% down on a 2-unit, live in that property for a year, at least a year, but as long as you need to live in that property. So then after you buy your 2-unit, if you're 3 and you're 2, now if you're ready to buy the house, you buy your single family, put 3 to 5% down, low down payment. And now you're in your house and hopefully your buildings are paying for it. Now, once you get a little more savvy, that building that you bought 3-4 years ago now may have 100 or 200,000 in equity. So now you have the option to refinance that building to pull that equity out. So now you can put 25% down on something. But once again, as a house hacker, I'm using the equity, not my money from my job. So I'm going to use the equity from the properties to go ahead and buy the next property, right? And what I did, and we're still trying to figure out if it was a good idea, but my 8-unit was in a really rough area. It was giving me a lot of problems. I felt like it needed a lot of work. So I decided to sell my 8-unit just recently. So now from the profits of my 8-unit, I'm trying to take all of that, couple of $100,000, and I'm trying to buy 5 8-units. So it's going to take me a couple of 2 years is my plan. But my goal is to take my $5,000 in profits, to $20,000 in profits. And yes, I could have refinanced and kept that property, which I would have did if it was in a great neighborhood, but I just wanted a fresh start. So with that being said, I did sell that property. I already purchased another 8 unit. It's in the process of being rehabbed. So that should make $4,000, and I only put $65,000 down. So now I have $300,000 more to invest in 4 more 8 units. So all you realtors on here, if you got some really good deals, we looking to flip some more 8 units.
I love what you said, because basically people, her assets are paying for her to acquire other assets. But the one thing that was so valuable about what you said is you said, I have a plan. My plan is this many years. This is what I'm going to do. Like, guys, that's one thing I don't want you guys to miss, to say, I want to be a real estate investor. Like, no, really plan. What are you trying to make monthly? What is your credit? What is your income? What is your goal? What is the area you live in? What do you qualify for? Because she said she had different options. I hope I didn't miss that. She had options. She thought about, the neighborhood. Guys, there's one thing I want to say is that real estate is not a one size fits all, right? And so you have to really look at, that's one reason why working with somebody like Natasha is valuable, because she's been doing it for so long. You can really look at the actual situation and take into consideration the area, how much equity you'll have, all those things, because what works for you may not work for me. It may work for somebody else. Like, you really have to look at every individual deal and your situation and see what you can do. Super, super smart. So can you tell the people what they actually need? Because FHA is also, for everybody out there, and real quick, when Natasha has people that come to her and she can't help them, she's like, Terry, help them out. And when I have people and I'm done helping them, I'm like, Natasha, help them out. There's value in having a team, because if something needs to be fixed, we piggyback off of each other. And the goal is to help you guys get to your goal, right? Having people help you actually get to the finish line. And so it does not take a lot to qualify. It's the easiest thing to qualify for. So can you break down for the people what they actually need? Credit score, like documentation. You already said down payment 3.5%, but can you explain to them what they actually need to qualify? Because it's about to, y'all, are y'all ready for your minds to be blown? That's like mind blown. Please blow their mind, because some people have a misconception about what home ownership is, and they qualify. Some of y'all qualify. Some of y'all on this live, I'm about to speak life, qualify right now for a property, and you don't even know. Can you please tell them what they need to qualify for an FHA loan?
Oh my God, Terry, I thought you'd never ask. So what you need to qualify is you have to have, for FHA, a 580 credit score. You have to live in the property. Guys, please, 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 please do not call me and say, what if, what happened? You have to live in the property for 1 year. That is the rule. And it's 1 year after you finish the renovation, if you're doing the renovation. And in addition to that, I do not need any tax returns if you are not self-employed. Do not send any documents that you are not asked for to your loan officer, because it is my fiduciary responsibility to disclose those documents to the underwriter if I see them. So no tax returns. If you have bank accounts with insufficient funds, you may not be ready to buy yet. They do not want to see more than one insufficient fund. So just like you repair your credit, you want to repair your bank statements and make sure, just because you don't have an insufficient fund in August, if you had one in January, most of the time at the bottom of your bank statement, it will give me a running year to date on your total insufficient funds, even if you didn't have one this month. So don't have more than one insufficient fund, and we need one bank statement. You are allowed to use your 401k. You are allowed to use your whole life cash value. You are able to get a gift from an immediate family member and use your checking and savings for your down payment. And that is pretty much it with me. When you're working with the Natasha team, we are going to look at your application. We are going to review your documents. We are going to look at your credit. If you had a foreclosure, it's okay. FHA requires 3 years after the foreclosure. If you're in a Chapter 13, it is okay. As long as you've made 12 on-time payments, and if you're still in that bankruptcy, you get permission from the judge, I can still do that property. If you have collections, I can still do it. If you have judgments, I can still do your loan, as long as you have an agreement and you've made 3 payments. If you are in trouble on your student loan and you have not paid your student loans, call them. A lot of times they will let you make 7 payments and they will allow you to buy a house. Most people come to me and set the payment up, and they got to go back and wait 7 months now. So just make sure that all your payments and everything are good to go, so that way you don't have any surprises later. Most lenders are not going to run pavers, which is what we run, to make sure that you are good with the government until you go under contract. So if you are in trouble with the student loans and Terry fixed your credit and they're no longer there, we're going to fund them. So disclose, be honest with your loan officer so we can get you to the closing table. We are closing loans in 3 weeks. We are closing renovation loans in 37 days. We are getting you to the table. We are calling our listing agents. We are making things happen, but we need you to make them happen too. So I'll break it down one more time just quickly.
Yeah.
Credit score 580, 2122 W2, 2120 W2, 2 recent pay stubs, 1 bank statement, no tax returns if you're not self-employed, no insufficient funds, not more than 1. You can have them, but it's a tougher underwrite. So if you're starting in credit repair phase with Terry, we want to fix the credit and the bank statements before you apply for a mortgage.
No, I don't play with them. I don't play with them. I don't play with them.
Whenever Terry send me a client, it's so easy. I don't have to do anything. I can close in 2.5 weeks. So I love when our clients come with the 700 credit scores and all of that stuff. So Terry does get you together, and I love that because everybody doesn't understand lending that does credit repair. And a lot of credit repair people try to keep you under their wings for so long that by the time you get done, you got to pay 80 extra thousand for the property just so they can make an extra 800 on your $59 a month. So I'm sure Terry's going to talk about that tonight, but you want a credit repair specialist that's going to get you in and out so that way you can get to that property, because every 6 months is going to probably cost you another 20,000 in equity, give or take the way the market is going.
Listen, you just said a mouthful. I did look. I did a live last night on credit scores, and we got on that. And let me just say to everybody, there's a difference between just doing credit repair to get a car or a credit card or something else. But you guys always hear me say legacy, wealth building. Who are we tied to? What do we actually do? I always say the big money. And what we mean is that when you go through underwriting, it's a different level of what you have to have. Even if your credit report is great, and just like she said bank statements. I legit had that happen to me before a while, where I had somebody fix all her credit. She was a teacher, everything was fine, and then she handed over her bank statements that had all these insufficient funds, and I was like, no. And guys, her credit score was like almost 700. They denied her loan. Credit was fine, did all that work, but she didn't tell me she was moving lots of money around and everything. So let me just say this. Number one, it's your credit and your finances and your bank statement. And to be honest, you want to be able, from the lender standpoint, right, before they give you a mortgage, it's going to be $1,000 a month. They don't want to see that you're writing checks and having bills come out that are $100 a month that you're not able to clear, right? So from their standpoint, they just want to make sure that you're able to actually, manage all that money. And you want to make sure too, but just know that your loan officer, and when you work with me, we are your allies, right? Tell us everything. Tell Natasha everything. Tell me everything, because a lot of times we can give you a solution and make it work out. That way you can actually get to the closing, get to the table. And the last thing I want to say is that y'all hear what scenario she gave y'all? She just freed somebody. She just freed somebody on this live who thought they couldn't buy a property. So the takeaway from that, guys, is have a conversation. Don't think in your head that you can't qualify for something without having a conversation with an expert, a whole expert, and make decisions. Successful people make decisions based on the facts. Don't assume, don't listen to what your neighbor did or anything else, or what your coworkers did or what your parents did. Go speak to an expert about your situation. Come on, somebody who's ready. I like that. If you're ready to buy a house, or if you're ready to buy an investment property, put in the comments, I'm ready. And make sure too, also, I have a couple more questions for you. If you're not following Natasha, you follow her, make sure you be like, Terry sent me, okay? Because then she has a yacht, and I'm trying to get on her yacht. And so I would be like, I sent you 29.
But those are it's my Instagram. And, just like you guys know, there are people that can do your credit with a 540 or a 520 or something that I saw. And the interest rate's going to be so high. So you are connected with somebody that can repair your credit and put you in a situation where you can get a really good interest rate. You don't have to settle. A lot of my clients, they're embarrassed just so you guys know, I started with a 470 credit score.
Come on.
I was paying things late. I was robbing Peter to pay Paul. I was the IHOP waitress, as Max said. IHOP, whatever he called it. But with that being said, I was a waitress. I was struggling. I had a 471 credit score, and I had a dream that one day I was not gonna have to be waiting on tables for the rest of my life. So at the end of the day, now I have a 740. I work hard. Everybody, you can change it. So even though there are some programs that allow you to get in at a 525, 45, 80, work hard on your credit. Treat your credit like you treat your man or your diamonds. You know, like make sure that you're putting yourself in a situation, because good credit leads to $200 a month in savings. So you could take that $200 and save $2,400 a year and invest in a property and put $10,000 down in 5 years or 4 years. So with that being said, utilize what we have to get you out there, so that way you can get in the door, you can get that property, you can become a house hacker. And like I said on the call, guys, house hacking gave me confidence. You know, I'm a girl from the west side of Chicago, you know, and I didn't have the confidence. I had to grow into that girl, but because I had the income, I was able to walk in that room and ask for what I deserved. And I started out, like I said, as just an assistant in the department, and now I'm sitting in my very own office. I have almost 11 loan officers. I'm a branch manager. I did 84 million in sales last year. So that was all. I give everything to God in house hacking, because if I didn't get those properties, I wouldn't have had that confidence, and I would probably still be making 50, 60, maybe $100,000 a year being somebody's assistant. And now this company has gave me the opportunity to be my own boss. So we have to work together, share information. A lot of times we like to hold it deep and not want to tell our friends. If you're inspired today, share this live, call your friends, tell them to get pre-approved so everybody can win together.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy that you shared that, because sometimes we don't share all the details of how it started. There's somebody else out there that you really empowered them. You really like inspired them, because we all start from somewhere. We all start from somewhere. And some of you, so like you said, you can't get a mortgage or a house a pre-approved at 580, but do we recommend it? Come on, Wealth Warriors. Like, we out here just striving for excellence, right? And so even though you can do that, do we really, really recommend it? No, you're going to get, the process is going to be so much smoother if you work on your credit and get your down payment together and all those things. You get better deals, be able to negotiate better. But just as a success principle, guys, once you repair it one time, you never have to do it again. Like, you just have to maintain it. And I'm just going to add one of the benefits of house hacking that people sometimes miss, is that having that mortgage on your credit report and paying that for 12 months on time is also going to build your credit score and help you do more things after. It's going to set you up for the next property. So even that actual process is going to help build you up. And then, like, look, like Natasha out here flipping 8 units. You know, you never look back. You never look back.
On, I need more.
She's hold on. Can we just acknowledge the whole board? My friend told me somebody need 4 more 8 units. Look at the
4 more 8 to 12 units. I need to make $5,000 a property. I'm looking to retire. My husband told me if I give 30 doors minus this 8, that I can retire one day. So that's what I'm working on.
She said 30 doors, and I love it. And look, she had to go. She said 30 doors. Let's help Natasha get her 30 doors. If you got 40, listen. And the other thing I want to say to you guys too is that a lot of you with working on your credit, you think you're so far away. Can I tell you how people have gotten 50, 100 points in like 30, 60 days? Information changes situations. Sometimes you have inaccurate information. You're not sure where you really need to grow. And sometimes it's a simple plan. I've turned people around because I'm back to Natasha super fast sometimes. So go where you need. If you're ready for Natasha, make sure you go to Natasha. If you need some help, I got you covered. Now, I love 203K construction loans. I love, somebody say love. I love 203K construction loans. Can you explain to everybody? Because some people know and some people don't. What a 203K construction loan is?
Yeah, so when you say 203K, I say all day. So with that being said, we do 203K all day over here. I am a renovation specialist. I love 203K. I love negotiating with the sellers, and I love 203K even more now. I saw Tyrone Green on here. We got a 203K right now. His client gained $90,000 in equity. Can't wait to get her closed next week. But I haven't seen that spread in a very long time. A 203K loan is a renovation loan, 1, 2, 3 or 4 unit, 3.5% down, 580 minimum credit score. I'm giving you tomorrow's value today. What does that mean? You purchase that property, you rehab it. You purchase it for 200, you rehab it for 100. If it's now worth 500,000, I'm going to give you $500,000 tomorrow's value today on a renovation loan. So with that being said, the renovation loan, some lenders only allow the streamline, which only allows you to spend $29,000 in renovation. We offer the streamline, and we also offer the full renovation where you can go all the way up to the loan limits. And don't quote me exactly, but the 1 unit FHA is about 420. The 2 unit is 471. The 3 unit is 651, 250, give or take. And the 4 unit is 809. So I say that to tell you that you can buy an $800,000 4 unit and put 3.5% down. But what you also can do is you can go find a 8 unit. You can convert it into a 4 unit, 4 duplexes, and you can still put 3.5% down because we're only looking at what the property is going to be when you finish that renovation. In addition to FHA, we have VA renovation. 2 units, max 50,000, 0% down, no monthly mortgage insurance. We're getting those loans closed all day. We also have the Fannie Mae homestyle renovation and the Freddie renovation. Once again, a lot of different programs. Everybody's situation can be different, but we do offer all the loans. I am licensed in South Carolina. I can't read all the chats, but I am licensed.
I don't got my glasses on, so I can't read the chat. But well, look, put them in the comments if you want to answer some questions or do like another one. Are y'all getting some value from this? Like seriously, she dropping some gems on here. So yes, I'm
licensed in South Carolina, so I can do your loan, but you will have to find a realtor team there that can help you find the property. But I am licensed in 28 states, so we do have a lot of bandwidth. And yes, I'm licensed in Virginia.
I love it. So guys, I hope you didn't miss it. And what I will say is this, because I love 2 or 3 student loans. I've done a bunch of them, and so can we talk real for a minute, right? Because I want to be real about what this process is like. It can be overwhelming and frustrating, especially depending on how much renovations need to be done. But what I would say to everybody is, anything worth having is worth working hard for, right? Every single deal and every single property, I've never seen one deal or one property be the same. So just like Natasha said, she said she had some renovations that she's experienced at this, and it was a whole nightmare, right? So you take the good with the bad, but the outcome, come on, somebody. The outcome is some generational wealth. The outcome is leverage. The outcome is building your empire with other people's money. This is how you really leverage your credit to build wealth, because she's not putting $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 down on properties. Now she has a 740. She can get whatever she wants, and the process is even better. So it's even better, meaning like not as strenuous to go through the process, and she's able to close and she's able to be creative. Now, let me ask you this, because some people may not realize, there's traditional banks and then there's like mortgage lenders, right? And so one reason why I love Natasha and her team is because they have some more flexibility than the traditional banks. And I don't think people understand that half of having success, hear me y'all, is half of it is having a goal, having your credit, but the other half is where to go to get the money, right? So sometimes you guys may not qualify. Like a no for another bank may be a yes for Natasha. I bring out certain people for a reason. Let me just say that, okay? Make sure you share this. But can you explain why you're able to sometimes have more flexibility than a traditional bank, and why you can sometimes close a little bit faster than traditional bank? Can you explain like the difference between like a traditional lender and the awesome job you guys do? Because I don't think they understand that where you get the money can literally make or break your deal.
Yeah, so that's a really good question. So I do work Monday through Sunday, which is different from your traditional bank. In addition to that, some banks you only have to fit in their bucket or their portfolio. So at Guaranteed Rate, we do business directly with the government, right? So the engine is called Ginnie Mae for FHA. And what that means is that eliminates most of the overlays and the things that happen. So even though Chase or US Bank, you might not fit in their guidelines, well, Ginnie fits in everybody's guidelines. So we underwrite towards the government And then, of course, we eventually sell our loans off to a servicer, but that's pretty much the big difference. So I don't really do a lot of brokering, which I have the option to do, because the lenders that do a lot of brokering, in my opinion, don't have access to Ginny. So they have to move around and see what fits in the box. Ginny is the one all be all. They fit in everybody's box pretty much. And it's the way the underwriter interprets the guidelines. So it's my job as a lender. It's just like being a lawyer on a court. I have to present my case to the underwriter in the very best way possible. So when we are through your case, we have to explain every scenario so they don't assume anything. And we have to present our case to the judge so we win when we win.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes there's obstacles. Sometimes my clients have very unique situations. And what we do is we explain it in the best ability. And if it'll be a flip of a coin, what we do is we have a pre-approval that we can get you before you even find a property. So that way we can see if it works now. And if it doesn't, we can set you on track or refer you to a different lender that may be able to get it done for you. But we pretty much have all the programs that work. There are some things that we can't do, but it's my job as a lender to know who can do it, so we still get you to your goal of home ownership through our network partners.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. So she has options. And I never talked a whole lot about FHA. So for everybody who already owns their house, so they're like, oh my gosh, I know I've had some people come to me like, I wish I would have talked to y'all or known y'all before I bought my house, right? So it's not the end of the world, you know, if you already own your home, right? Or if you're not in a situation where you can do FHA right now. Can you just talk real quick about just like renovation loans or loans for like, you know, just investors who are just buying a second property? Like what other programs do you guys offer for people who are just maybe looking to buy an investment property or a second property, but they're not doing a hard money loan?
So we do have through the home style renovation loan, we have one program. You have to have a 720 credit score. My loan amount is about 125,000 limit, minimum, not limit, minimum. And you have to have a 720 credit score, and you are looking to put about 25% down. We recently have a program, but it's kind of like hard money, where we can do LLCs, non-renovations, and we also can do, you know, multi-unit properties, even up to 8 units, and they don't look at your income. They're looking at the cash flow of the property, and that's how they're determining your interest rate and things like that. So that is new for me because I normally don't broker, but we're gladiators, right? So with this market, you know, we have to adapt. So I am willing to work with other investors. I give them a hard time because I do my research and make sure that whatever programs they're offering, they actually can close, because that's my reputation. But we are adding programs such as that. So we can do LLC, non-reno, renovation. If it's renovation, conventional, 720, 25% down, and you're paying way less fees and way lower interest rates than the hard money lender.
That's it in a nutshell, because even though, and guys, if you don't have a 720, hello, get a 720, okay? Literally, like it might be like 3 or 6 months away, but then after, like I said, after that, you don't never have to do it again. But the biggest thing, and mind you, we love our hard money lenders. Us investors, we love our hard money lenders, but there's a time and place for everything, everybody's situation. And what people miss about flipping is that you need the money to flip. So by definition, investors have capital to invest. So that means you're going to have down payment and fees and all those things. So I just want everybody out there to be aware that you have options, right? It's not, there's more than one way to get to the end goal. So the other takeaway from what you said, Natasha, I don't want people to miss, is that you're doing things now that you maybe didn't do 6 months ago or a year. So guys, if you've talked to Natasha before, or you heard her present before, and you're like, well, she didn't talk about this, she didn't talk about that, that can't help my situation. Guys, it's fluid. Somebody type fluid. Look, we're not in person. Somebody type fluid, right? It's fluid, meaning they expand and change and grow. So she may have something to fit you now that maybe it wasn't available before. Your situation may have changed now, and where it may not have been the best fit before. So the biggest takeaway, guys, is get your questions answered by an expert. And then if you have some work to do the work. Make a plan.
Do the work.
That's it.
Do the work. It's a huge payoff later. And most people think, credit is just like a degree. People think that you got to have all of these qualifications to be able to ask for the money that you should get, right? You deserve whatever you feel like your net worth is, right? You figure out what is your hourly rate. Like, what is Natasha Robinson worth per hour? So you figure out what you're worth per hour. And it doesn't matter what degree you have or what you've accomplished. You work hard to get to that particular goal. So credit is the same way. Some clients think because they have a 580, they won't apply. They don't want anybody to know. Maybe they had insufficient funds. You guys are working with a team of people who have been there, done that, do not care. My ultimate goal is where you go. A lot of times when I get to the closing table, I ask my clients, where do you work? And they're like, you did my loan. Why don't you know where I work? I don't pay attention to where you work, how much money you make. All I pay attention to is what do you qualify for and how can I get you closed? I touch a lot of applications a year. So my goal is to get you there. So if I run your credit and it's 555, I'm like, Terry, I need you to fix it. I'm going to look at it. And if it's only because you're maxed out on credit cards or if it's something that I can fix immediately or Terry can fix immediately, I'm like, Terry, I need you to run this. She's trying to get in this house by January. What do we need to do to fix it? We don't care where you're at. We're trying to get you to where you're going, and that is what we're here for. So do not be ashamed, embarrassed, or whatever. It's people out here making $600,000 a year with mistakes. And guess what? From our mistakes, we move up and we move on. But what holds us back is when we're worried about what other people are going to say about what we've been through. So I notice through my clients that they hold themselves back most of the time because they have bad credit. So with that being said, talk to your friends, talk home ownership. Share this wealth and knowledge so that way you can empower your friends. It doesn't matter what their credit score is, how much money they make, because this experience may put them in a situation where they buy their house, quit their job, and now they're making 4 times the money that they made before, or started that business that they dreamed of but couldn't have the money to start, but now they bought a building with equity and now they can. So it's so much that goes into what we're doing that we have to work together to get people there.
Look, information changes situations, guys, and I wasn't always this person either. Like, you know, you guys, well, some of you know that, you know, I bought my very first house when I was 21 and I only made $14 an hour. Why do I keep repeating that to people over and over and over again? Because $14 an hour, Natasha just bought hers when she was making $20,000 a year. And that property changed her life. My first property changed my life. Was my first property a 8-unit mansion somewhere? No, it was a 3-bedroom row home in the suburbs. But that was the beginning of me realizing that looking good on paper could change my life. That built my credit. When I got my second property, I kept that one and rented it out. So I went a different route in the very, very beginning. But guys, only $14 an hour at 21. Say it again.
And let me tell you why, Terry. Because when you buy a 4-unit, I'm giving you rent for the other 3 units. So if we get $1,500 from those other units, I'm taking 75%. Yep. So now you're making $50,000 a year more from the property before you even own it to qualify for the property. I had a client, she only made $15 an hour. She bought a 2-unit. Her mortgage was $1,200, but the other unit was bringing in $2,000. So even though she didn't make any money, she was able to get that building, live in it. And I mean, she has to have made $200,000 in equity by now because she had a really good deal. But you're talking about somebody that was making $15 an hour with $200,000 in equity because she listened and she followed the system and she found a property with a purpose. And guys, don't go out here and buy real estate just because you want to own a building. The property needs to make sense. It needs to have a purpose. If the property don't have a purpose, don't buy it. Don't buy it if it don't have a purpose. It has to have a purpose for you. And if the purpose is not to make $1,500 a month, if the purpose is because now instead of you paying $3,000 in rent, you only gonna be paying $500 in rent, that's your purpose. And stop listening to your cousin and your uncle. Go to the professionals so that way they can tell you guys what to do. But make sure that property has a purpose, because if your property has a purpose, it will make you money and it will serve that purpose for that moment, and then your purpose will change, and then you'll find another property for that new purpose.
Absolutely. There's so many ways to get this done, and I love that you said that, and go to the actual experts. I want to tell you guys something, and I'm just going to say it because I think people sometimes miss too that a regular traditional FHA mortgage is 30 years. I've had numerous clients, and when I share stories, guys, it's because they shared it themselves. They've allowed me to share it. And so one of my clients, one of my older clients from a while ago, had always been, a Section 8 renter, right? Her and everybody in her family had always been on public assistance. And she said, I want to buy a house. I want to buy a house. She went to a home buying seminar where I was presented. We got connected. She said, I want to buy a house. She was the very first person in her family to buy a house. I think her whole process was 6 months from the time that she sat to me to the time that she actually went to closing and bought her very first property. So besides the fact that she sent me like 50-something people, her son and her daughter, come on, people in their 20s are working on the credit to buy their own properties, right? But the biggest kind of hack to this is that when she bought her property, guys, her mortgage was $365 less than what she was paying in rent.
Trying to tell you. And the mortgage interest, and let me tell y'all something that y'all don't think about. We can't see the hands of all the renters on this call. We're going to hope you guys set the plan up to not be renters tomorrow. If you live in your property for 30 years, do you know after 30 years you don't have a mortgage? So at 30 years old, if you buy your property, you own it free and clear, right? When you become a senior, you get your taxes frozen so you don't have property taxes. Retirement, and you get to write off the interest, you get to write off your repairs, you get to write off all your insurance and your expenses. So with that being said, if you choose to rent for 30 years, you chose to pay off my mortgage.
Bars.
You pay off my mortgage. Pay off your own mortgage, guys. And if you're making enough money, we'll pay enough money to pay it off in 15 years. If you don't do anything else, have a free and clear property when you retire, because the free and clear property, your Social Security, and if you get pension, is your key to not having to work and enjoying your senior years.
She said, look, enjoying your senior years on a yacht, sipping lemonade in white linen. Look, you know the video. Like, you have all without a care in the world. I love it, guys. And let me just say one last thing, and then Natasha, I want to ask you to kind of leave them with some some best practices or some tips or some things to do to kind of get mortgage ready, guys. And we're at the end of the year, so I just want to say something. When we get around tax time, right, before people start getting all their money, I say to people, you have no idea how many people I've had use their 401k money and how many people I've had use their income tax refund. How many times have we gotten $3,000, $5,000, $8,000, $10,000 in an income tax refund, and what do we have to show for it? I said, stop spending your income tax refund on the 3 C's. That's clothes, couches, and cars.
The average today, prom is costing like $7,000, y'all. Prom is expensive.
Come on, y'all. So, guys, this is where if you put together a plan right now, even if your credit's not there, if your income or whatever it is, then you do your taxes, you get that income tax refund. That's your down payment money. You about to start the first quarter of the year a whole owner, having equity, having tax write-offs, having passive income, having generational wealth, leading by example, showing your children. Let's not forget the priceless part is your family and friends seeing you become a whole boss and knowing that if you can do it, they can do it too. You'd be surprised who you can actually inspire. So before you get that income tax check, guys, start thinking about how this can be the time that you actually use it this year to start your kind of real estate investing, to start your actual plan. And so is there any kind of, oh, and last thing, if you guys didn't miss it, 401k. Sometimes you can do a withdrawal, sometimes a loan. Guys, I'm okay, and I said it on the last live, I'm okay with people using an asset to buy another asset. Right? We didn't say go on vacation. We didn't say get a Bentley. We didn't say, do all these things, get red bonds, but using your 401k money to put in something income producing, guys, that's your retirement plan. A lot of times you'll actually get more money by doing it that way. But Natasha, can you just give some last words of wisdom? Make sure you follow Natasha, follow me, but some words of advice, some things to kind of do, some things, 3 tips maybe to kind of get people kind of mortgage ready, homeowner ready, investor ready, some do's and some don'ts.
You know what? I think we said a lot today, so I'm gonna say 3 words, guys. It's go get it. We in a great market. We have the ability to make things happen, move and shake. These investors are scared to buy right now. House hack all day. Get in here, get your property, 2 or 3K all day. Go get it. No more excuses. No more reasons to be down. Go get it. Those are my 3 words. Go get it. You got credit repair. You got loans down to 580. No more excuses, guys. Tell somebody about what you learned tonight. Hang up, inspire somebody to get out here and get it. Go get it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Natasha, for your time. You've been working all day, so I appreciate your time, guys.
I'm still at
I know that's right. And so I appreciate the time. I'll make sure that I share your information with everybody. Like I 1,000% co-sign and endorse Natasha. She's helped a ton of my clients and family and friends, inside and outside of Make Real Estate Real. Before you think that you don't qualify for something, have a conversation with an expert. Guys, make a plan, work the plan, period. Get it done. And nobody should be in credit repair for more than 3 to 6 months. period.
That's right. That's right. And if you're looking for me, we've done so much marketing. You can Google me and my name will pop up. You can do an application if you're interested. Please don't see any tax returns. If you're not self-employed, no insufficient funds, call me first. We want to make sure your home buyer ready before you start sending documents. And if you need credit repair, we'll get you the theory. But the first step is to try to make sure you actually qualify. And if you don't, so what? I'm going to calendar you. When I think you will qualify, I'm going to tell you what you need to get ready. Because if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. So we're going to get you ready so that way you can buy whenever a property does come up. So like I said, take the first step to apply. If you feel like you need credit repair, call Terry first. And like I said, go get it. We'll get you ready.
Amen. Done it. And I'll just end by saying it, guys. Real estate changed both of our lives. Both of us started from start from the bottom. Now we're here, right? We always give God the glory, right? Because I'm so grateful. Look at that. Look, she had her whole building, guys. Look, when he's in the business of blessing somebody in your area, he's going to be blessing you too. We're not any different. The one reason why we're so passionate about what we do is because we empathize, right? Because we know what it feels like. But I promise you, you can do it too. So get it done, and then make sure I want to see all of just tag nothing pictures in front of your properties with your keys. Amen. All right, guys, have a super amazing night. Thank you, Natasha. I will see you soon, and I'm coming on that yacht, and I'm wearing my white linen dress.
I'm going to see you, Jamaica girl. See you,
Y'all, we about to be on can I just say one last thing, y'all? We about to be, y'all know I ain't supposed to say real people, because we're about to be in Jamaica, but you know how good God is? We're going to Jamaica to work. Which is not even work anymore, because our passion's our dream. Like you know it's your passion when you would do it whether you were working or not, right? But guess what? Because we have businesses, the whole thing is a tax write-off.
I forgot about that. I gotta add that to my name. What? I wasn't thinking about that when I paid, but I might have saved 36% off my tax. Okay.
Yes, so that's good. The tax write-off.
Even I need to be reminded sometimes. Nobody's perfect.
Listen. See that's what about iron sharpens iron. Yes, y'all. So we will see you all in Jamaica. God is good, guys. Get it done. Get out of your hectic mental dialogue and have a conversation with an expert. All right, guys. Have an amazing night. I'll see you soon. Thank you.
See you later. Thank you.